Hello everyone. Good afternoon. This is David B. Dichoso. I'm a senior high school teacher of Cabarugis National School of Arts and Trades, Cabarugis, Quirino. Welcome to my live stream for Oral Communication in Context, Module 6, Lesson 1. For all of my students there, kindly share this video to your classmates so that they will be informed that we are now live for our lesson. I hope that everybody's safe today. As we wait for the others, I would like to take this opportunity to thank everybody who joined me in the celebration of my 26th birthday yesterday. Thank you very much for your warm greetings to my CNSAT family, to my Red Cross Youth family, to Duog Vlog family, to my JCSGO family, to my AMI family. I love you all. Thank you very much for your prayers and your gifts. I appreciate your efforts to make me happy yesterday. Thank you very much. I'm looking forward to experience more moments with you in this coming year. And if there are things that I have done not good, well, I'm sorry. I hope that you forgive me too. Anyway, I would like also to thank this opportunity to thank Ma'am Rose Maricangas, Ma'am Feli, Sir Orly, Sir Jimmy, and the like. Thank you very much for your love and support. To Bishop, Ronald Bonus, to Pastor Mao, to Pastora Juliet, to my mom and dad, to my brother, Natividad family, Pascua family, Paluyo family, and many more. Thank you very much for everything. If you haven't met me yet, my name is David B. Dichoso. I'm a senior high school teacher of Cabarugis National School of Arts and Trades. I finished my bachelor's degree at International School of Asia and the Pacific, and I also finished my master's degree at University of La Salle, Santiago City. Last time we talked about the different speech contexts. We talked about intrapersonal, interpersonal, public, and mass communication. In this video, we are going to talk about the types of speeches. And I would like to acknowledge the author of this module for the Module 6, Ma'am Bernadette C. Royo of Region 4A, Calabarzon. Thank you very much, Ma'am, for your efforts in writing this module. I would like to shout out to all of my students who are already here in my live stream, KJ Sagaw, Miss Paleng, Angel Salamanca. Good afternoon to all of you. Thank you, as I was saying, thank you very much, Ma'am Bernadette C. Royo of Region 4A, Calabarzon. For my students, kindly bring with you now your module so that you will be guided as we go through our lecture this afternoon. I would like to shout out Grade 11 Amber, Crystal, Amethyst, Sapphire, Onyx, Emerald, Ruby. Good afternoon to all of you. I hope that you are happy for today and the days to come. Anyway, as I said earlier, our topic for this video will focus on the types of speeches with the following objectives. Number 1, it says here, distinguish the types of speeches according to purpose and delivery. The second one, we have determine the types of speeches used in different real-life situations. Hello, Joyce Pascual. Good afternoon. So those are the objectives of our lecture this afternoon. I hope that you are ready. If you are ready, kindly hit the like button so that we can start already our lecture for Module 6, Lesson 1, Types of Speeches. Thank you very much. Okay, let's get started. In the first part of your module, there's a pre-diagnostic test to determine your prior knowledge about the types of speeches. You are then to answer these questions. If you're done, then together we are going to discover the correct answers as we go through this lesson 1. Let's start. This lesson introduces you to the world of public speaking. I know for a fact that some of you are not that well versed in public speaking, so am I. I'm still in the process of learning public speaking. But nevertheless, I will try my best to help you out to learn and unlearn things about public speaking so that together we can develop your oral communication skills. Turn your modules on page 5. On page 5, we have here what's new. In the first part of this page, speech is defined as it is a human nature to express thoughts and emotions. Thus, many speeches or forms of communication in spoken language made by speaker before an audience have been created. Speeches are more often than talking or usual conversations. They are primarily delivered to leave a remarkable message. In summary, speeches are made to leave an impact to the hearts of the listeners. At the lower part of your module, page 5, there is an activity, a crossword puzzle, wherein you are to determine or find for 7 words that refer to jobs which commonly require to deliver speeches. Try to look for them as fast as you can to the types of as fast as you can so that it could lead you to the types of speeches. Let's start. Actually, I have answered this module this morning. I hope that you are able also to answer this module already. If you are, then let's discuss further about this crossword puzzle. For A, the words that I was able to found are teacher, comedian, and lawyer. For B, I found politician, doctor, actor, and news anchor. Correct? Okay. On the latter part, on page 6, there is an additional activity to be done. It says here, for jobs written vertically, what do you think are the reasons or purposes for giving their speeches? There are 3 drawings there on page 6. Drawings of individuals with particular jobs. The first drawing is for a teacher, a woman holding a book. There is a phrase on the right side of the drawing. It says here, as the teacher says, I give speech to, maybe you can write there, inspire my students to learn things and understand others. I give speech to lecture on the different topics. Okay? Your task then here is to complete the thought of the phrases that are written beside the drawing. I have already started answering for the first drawing, the teacher. Now let's move on. The second drawing here, I feel like it's a lawyer. So let's try to answer. I give a speech to blank. Well, if I'm the lawyer, I would say, I give a speech to justify the innocence of my clients. I give a speech to prove that my client is innocent. Or I give a speech to persuade the judge to set my client free. Something like that. Okay? Are you all good with that? Now let's move on to the third drawing. It's a picture or a drawing of a clown, particularly a comedian. Let's try to answer together. I give a speech to what? What's the purpose? I give the speech to entertain the audience, to make the birthday celebrant happy. Good afternoon, Edmar. Thank you very much for joining me this afternoon. So these are the reasons of or purposes that we answered for this activity. First one, the teacher to lecture, to give information, to inspire. The lawyer to justify, to persuade, to prove. And for the third one, the comedian to entertain. Are you all good with that? Shall we move on? Hello, Christine. Good afternoon. Let's move on page 7 of your module. It says here, for the jobs written horizontally, how do you think do they deliver their speeches? So what is being asked here is the manner on how these drawings or these people deliver their speeches. There are 4 drawings. The first one I think is a news anchor, a TV broadcaster. The line in the sentence says that, to deliver my report on television, I blank. So how do you think the news anchor delivers his speech? Well, maybe to deliver my report on television, I read the script using the teleprompter. Or to deliver my report on television, I read a script and at the same time rehearse before I deliver my speech. The second drawing, it's like a dramatist, an actor. The sentence says, to deliver my lines on stage, I blank. What do you think is the manner of this actor in delivering his speech? I think the answer is, to deliver my lines on stage, I memorize my script and deliver it on stage. That's what I think about it. What about you? Now let's move on with the third drawing. It's like a drawing of our president, President Rodrigo Duterte. To deliver my speech during campaign, I blank. What do you think is this one? I think to make my speech during campaign, I create an outline and then speak what is inside me, or to speak from my heart. That's what I think. What about you? What do you think is the manner or how the president delivers his speeches? Number 4, there's a drawing. I think this is a doctor because he's wearing a face mask. It says here, to deliver the clinical findings to my patient, I make the patient calm and explain the findings in the simplest way possible. I think that's the manner on how a doctor should deliver his findings to the patient. What about you? Or maybe to deliver the clinical findings to my patient, upon reading the findings, I explain the result of the test conducted to my patient. Are you still with me? Now let's move on. Let's move on page 8. What is it? In here, we are to identify or to learn the different types of speeches according to purpose. In the previous activity, we have determined or we have a bird's eye view on what are different types of speeches based on its purpose and the same time to its manner or delivery. Now, it's time for us to go further with the different types of speeches based on their purpose. Let's start with number 1, informative. On page 8, can we read together the definition of informative speech? It is mainly performed for the purpose of educating the audience on new or relevant piece of information on a particular topic. Example, lecture of a teacher. What I'm doing right now is a form of informative speech. Good afternoon, Arlene. Every time we give or deliver a speech with the main purpose of informing others, that is informative speech. Example, during announcements for flag ceremony. That's a form of informative speech. Another example, when politicians do live stream for the updates on COVID cases, that's a form of informative speech. Good afternoon, Christine. Are you with me? If yes, hit the like button. Let's move on with the second type of speech based on its purpose. The second one is persuasive speech. It says here, let's read together. Persuasive speech is given solely for the purpose of convincing the audience to agree with the speaker's opinion on a particular topic. Example, speech of a lawyer. I think we have made that one as an example earlier. When you try to persuade the judge to believe that your client is innocent, you use persuasive speech. Even in debates, we need to persuade the judges to believe our side as we present the arguments for the topic that is given to us. Persuasive speech. The third one we have entertainment speech. Let's read together the definition. It aims to share laughter and enjoyment to the audience through witty and humorous lines. Example of this, speech of comedians. Well, I want to share to you my favorite comedians. I love Kevin Hart. I love Chris Tucker. I love Jimmy Fallon. I love Ellen DeGeneres. They are very humorous. You know, comedians are smart individuals because it's not easy to make people laugh. They spend a lot of time thinking of the taglines or the words that they need to say. It's a tough job. Okay, so let's have a review. The types of speeches according to purpose are, first one, we have informative speech, when you give information to the listeners. The second one, we have persuasive speech. It's when you convince others, when you try to persuade them to believe of what you are saying. And the third one, we have entertainment speech. It's when your prime purpose is to entertain and give laughter to your listeners. Okay, do you also like him? Joyce? You like also Jimmy Fallon? Do you have questions about that one? If none, then let's move on. Types of speech according to delivery. Earlier, we talked about the purpose. Now, we discuss about the way we deliver the speeches. The first one in here, it says it's a manuscript speech. The word itself tells us that there is a script to be read. It says here is the word-for-word iteration of the written message using visual aids, such as maybe printed paper or a teleprompter. Example, news anchor with teleprompter. Second type of speech, we have memorized speech. Can I say it? Memorized speech. It says here, it is the rote recitation of a written message that the speaker has committed to memory. Well, common thing about this one, for example, speech choir. the participants in the speech choir need to memorize everything, every word that's written in the speech, and they are expected to deliver it with explicit mastery. Third one, we have extemporaneous speech. It is the presentation of a carefully planned and rehearsed speech spoken in a conversational manner using brief notes. Example, a campaign speech before a voting public. Extemporaneous speech. Well, there are also competitions on extemporaneous speech. It's when participants are given an ample amount of time to prepare and then deliver their speech in front. D, we have impromptu speech. It is the presentation of a short message without advanced preparation, and is for the people knowledgeable about the subject. Example, a doctor's response to the question of a patient. Another example, during question and answer portions, right? Impromptu speech. So what are the four types of speech based on the delivery? The first one, we have manuscript speech. It's when you read what is being written or presented, word for word. Second one, we have memorized speech. It's the longest time of preparation for speeches because the speaker need to memorize every word that is written and to deliver it without a copy. Memorized speech. The third one, we have extemporaneous speech. It's when the speaker is given a short amount of time to prepare, make an outline, and then he's expected to deliver the speech in front of a crowd. The fourth type of speech we have impromptu speech. No preparation at all. Well, in my class, I do all of these activities to my students. Yes. For the first quarter, what I do usually in the normal setting, we have the manuscript speech, and then we also do memorized speech, extemporaneous speech, and impromptu speech. That's very exciting. Anyway, let's move on with our next activity. Turn your modules on page 9. What's more? Okay, get to know more how to distinguish the types of speeches according to purpose and delivery. On the left are the characteristics of the speeches. Check the appropriate column to describe by each statement. Use a separate sheet of paper for your answer. Note, more than one column may be selected. Let's try to answer together. Ready? On your answer sheets, you are just to write the abbreviations for the following answers, for your answers, okay? I think it's clear here. Number 1, description. I will be reading the description of each item and then we are then to answer what type of speech is that based on the purpose or delivery or either both. Okay? Let's start. Provides the audience with clear understanding of a concept or idea. I think that is informative speech. I. Number 2, aims to convince the audience. Aims to convince the audience. Convince, that's the clue word. What do you think is this one? This one is persuasive speech. Number 3, is delivered with a limited preparation and is guided by an outline. Is delivered with limited preparation and is guided by an outline. limited preparation. That is extemporaneous speech. Are you still with me? Good. Number 4 is delivered with no advanced preparation and is usually for person knowledgeable about the subject. No preparation at all. What is this? This one is impromptu speech. Number 5 is used by theater actors. Is used by theater actors. What is this? I think that is memorized speech. Number 6 is commonly used by candidates running for a political office. Is commonly used by candidates running for political office. I think it's persuasive. And then the other one, it is extemporaneous speech. You are right, Joyce. Very good. Number 7 is employed when answering a question about oneself in an interview. I think that is for informative and at the same time it is for impromptu. Number 8 makes use of jokes, funny stories, and vivid descriptions. This one is entertainment speech. Number 9 is written in advance and should be practiced in order to avoid monotony. Is written in advance and should be practiced to avoid monotony. Well, it could be manuscript or memorized speech. Last item, number 10. Appeals to the audience emotion and provides striking statistics that can support the ideas. Appeals to audience emotion and provides striking statistics that can support the ideas. I think it should be persuasive speech. So we're done with what's more. Are you still with me? If yes, kindly hit the like button. Thank you very much. Let's move on with what I have learned. What I have learned. From the lesson on the types of speeches, I learned that you are then expected to complete the thought of these items. Let's answer it together. Okay? Number 1. I will use the following types of speech according to purpose. When? Number 1. Excuse me for a moment. Informative speech. When do we use informative speech? Well, it's when we inform others about any topic. For example, let's say I am a student, I use informative speech when I inform my classmates about the answers in oral com. Or when you share stories to your classmates about events that you have witnessed. Informative speech. Next one, persuasive. When do we use persuasive? When we persuade others to believe on what we are saying. Correct? Entertainment. When we share laughter with others, when we say jokes to others. That's a form of entertainment speech. Number 2. The 3 types of speech according to purpose are also used in, so let's give situations when we use informative, persuasive, and entertainment speech. Informative, such as it's used for announcements, news, updates, informative speech. Persuasive, debates. What about online selling? Do you think it's also a form of persuasive speech? When the vendors try to encourage the buyers to purchase their product, do you think it's also a form of persuasive speech? Yes. Number 3, correct, Joyce. Entertainment. When do we use entertainment speech in other situations? When we, example, vlogging. You see that vloggers need to be humorous, correct? Because it encourages viewers, listeners, subscribers, entertainment. Number 3, I will use the following types of speeches according to delivery when? Number 1, manuscript. When I read a birthday message for my friend, well, this is an example though. When I have to read a speech memorized, an example of this manuscript speech is when you try to greet your friend for her birthday, for example, debut, right? And you will read your notes, your birthday greetings for her. That's a form of manuscript speech. Next one, memorize speech. When you have a long time to prepare. Correct? Example of memorized speech, when you do introduction in your classes before, correct? When we are still allowed to go to school and it's the first day of your classes, well, I do it. I memorize the things that I need to say in front. For me to give a good, to leave them a good impact of what I am and who I am. Extemporaneous. When do we use extemporaneous speech? Example, when I present and defend my research or thesis. That's a form of extemporaneous. I will use extemporaneous speech when there's a short amount of preparation time and I need to speak in front of people. I just write the keywords and then I'll speak my mind about it. That's for extemporaneous speech. Number 4, impromptu. When I am called to speak in front without any preparation. When I'm caught off guard to speak on any topic that they will ask me to do, and that's a form of impromptu speech. Among the 4 types of speech for based on the delivery, which do you think is the most difficult? Is it manuscript, memorized, extemporaneous, or impromptu? Well, some say that it's hard to do memorized. Yeah, it's also hard because when you deliver it and you memorize it, well, there's such thing as mental block, wherein you can't remember a word to say, and that's very challenging. Or it's very nerve-wracking when you forgot the words to say in front of people. For me, the most difficult among these is, I think, impromptu. Because you have to be very knowledgeable of the topic. Impromptu. Anyway, let's move on. On page 11. Yes, page 11. The 4 types of speech according to delivery are also observed in, so we have to give another examples of situations wherein we use manuscript, memorize, extemporaneous, and impromptu. Let's start with, I'm on page 11, class. Page 11, okay? Page 11. Manuscript, wedding vows. I have attended some weddings and they read what they wrote for their vows. Next one, memorized speech choir. Next, extemporaneous for competitions. Impromptu for Q&As, question and answer portions in competitions. Number 5, are you still with me? Number 5, as a speaker, I should know my purpose and method of delivery before giving my speech, so blank. You are to complete the thought of this statement. Let me read it again. As a speaker, I should know my purpose and method of delivery before giving my speech. Okay, so that I can be an effective and efficient speaker. When you know your purpose, when you know what you want to say and how to say it, either way it is persuasive, informative, or entertainment speech, you will be more effective when you know your purpose. You will be guided on what to say and what not to say. Well, choosing the right way to prepare for it is also an advantage. Because when you speak in front of people, you're putting yourself in a spotlight. Eyes will be looking at you, ears will be hearing the words that you are saying. Definitely, you have to be prepared. Public speaking is not easy, but then if you are prepared to do so, then it will come smoothly. Let's move on. It says here in what I can do. Now that you know how to distinguish the different types of speeches, try to make a meaningful activity out of it by delivering a simple speech as a life coach. A life coach is someone who helps people identify their goals and develop an actionable plan to achieve them. To help the people who were affected by the recent COVID-19 pandemic, give a 2 to 3 minute persuasive memorized speech. And then, have someone from your audience to evaluate your performance by using the criteria below. So you are then expected to write your own speech and to deliver it maybe in front of your mom and dad. And then later on, you are going to let them give you your score using the criteria present on page 12 of your module. This is very exciting. I'm not going to ask you to send a video of you speaking, but no, I want you to do it in front of your mom and dad. They are going to give you your score. Whether or not you are going to do it well or no, it's up to you. Okay? And now, let's move on with the assessment. Page 13. Are you still with me? Page 13. Directions. Identify whether each statement is true or false. Use a separate sheet of paper for your answer. Let's start with number 1. It's gonna be okay. Well, if you are shy to speak in front of your parents, it's the first step for you to develop your oral communication skills. Maybe soon you're going to deliver your speech in front of me. That's a practice of what is to happen soon. Maybe, I do not know. Okay? Let's go back with the assessment. Please hold your modules with you so that you can read with me as we answer this one. Okay? Number 1, it says here, the types of speech according to delivery are impromptu speech, persuasive speech, extemporaneous speech, and manuscript speech. The types of speech according to delivery are impromptu speech, persuasive speech, extemporaneous speech, and manuscript speech. I think this one is false. Why false? It's because persuasive speech is a type of speech based on its purpose. It's not part of the type of speech based on the delivery. Number 2, the primary goal of an informative speech is to influence the thoughts and feelings, actions and behaviors or gratitudes of your listeners. Gamble and Gamble 2012. I think it's not informative speech, it's false. It should be persuasive speech. The primary goal of a persuasive speech is to influence the thoughts, feelings, actions, and behaviors or attitudes of your listeners. Gamble and Gamble 2012. That's the that should be the statement. Number 3, an extemporaneous speech has no advanced preparation and is usually for a person knowledgeable about the subject. No, it should be not extemporaneous. It should be impromptu speech. It's false. Number 4, an impromptu speech is delivered with little or no time for preparation. I think that is true. Number 5, an expository speech. Okay, what's the other term for expository speech? Informative speech. An expository speech provides the audience with clear understanding of a concept or idea. That is true. Number 6, the nature of reporter's job is to give a persuasive speech. No, it should be informative speech. That's false. Number 6. Number 7, the President's State of the Nation Address or SONA is guided by a manuscript or teleprompter. That is true. Number 8, a speaking situation can transform from one. Number 9, entertainment speech is simpler than informative speech. True or false? False. It's not simpler because to be a comedian is harder than someone who is just informing others. You have to make good choices of words when you do comedy. It's not simpler. I think it's harder. Number 10, a manuscript speech may not be rehearsed anymore. False. It should be rehearsed. Number 11, short notes are useful in an extemporaneous speech. That is true. Number 12, a manuscript speech is used to deliver important information. That is true. 13, vivid descriptions are essential in an entertainment speech. True. 14, the types of speech according to purpose are informative, persuasive, and entertainment speech. True. Number 15, the credibility of a speaker is important in informative, persuasive, and impromptu speech. That is true. So we're done with the assessment. Do you have questions about our lesson? Do you have questions? If none, then let's talk about the additional activity. On page 14 of your module 6, lesson 1, observe 3 different speaking situations in your environment. Using the table below, list them down and distinguish the type of speech according to purpose and the delivery used in each situation. Also, provide an evaluation by identifying the positive point you noticed. For the relevant suggestion, give a piece of advice on how the speech can further be improved considering the type of speech where it belongs. 1 point will be given for every correct answer written in each box. Write your answer on a separate sheet of paper. Okay, so let's try to answer this additional activity. Okay, first one, speaking situation. I think, okay, let us use this platform that I am using right now. the live stream lecture on the lessons in oral communication in context. That's the situation. Purpose, to inform the students about the lessons. Delivery, what's my mode of delivery right now? Is it manuscript? Is it memorized, extemporaneous, or impromptu? I think the best answer there is it's extempo, because I have to prepare for the things that I need to say. Because doing live stream is not easy. Okay? Positive point. Positive point for this live stream. I think I am able to connect to you, my dear students, and give you additional information about the lessons and possibly answer your questions. Relevant suggestions. What do you think? What are your suggestions for me to improve this live stream? Kindly comment down below. Okay, or just PM me later. Something like that. Okay? You can identify another situations. Think of a speech that you heard maybe in the school, maybe online, and try to determine the purpose. Try to determine the delivery. What are the positive points that you have heard from the speech? Example, during our flag ceremony, we listen to the announcements by our principal and the department heads. What's their purpose? What's their mode of delivery? What are the positive points you heard? And what are your suggestions? You can write at least two speaking situations. I'm not going to require you to do 3. Okay? And that concludes our lesson 1 for module 6 for oral communication in context. Once again, thank you very much for listening to my live stream. I hope that you have learned something from me today. And please, if you like this video, please do not forget to subscribe, hit the like button, and ring the bell notification. Okay? Thank you very much. Stay safe and God bless us all. Shalom.